Let us continue with the fourth question of the midterm. So part A, 4A. Asphalt or tarmac for road paving is a common engineering material. Make a list of required properties together with valid reasons. Would cost be a major factor? Right? So this is a very general materials engineering question that if you are a well-rounded engineer in any field, you know that when you make roads, right, the material is called asphalt or tarmac, right? And what should be the properties, and is fact a major cost, and so on. So any general engineer will just think about it and come up with the answers. And this will be an open-ended type of question. So even if your answer is not exact, but you are showing the different points that you should consider, then I will consider it as right. But let us see some of the answers that must be there. Excuse me. Following points are representative but not exhaustive. I have deliberately written it that you can have a more detailed list, a very exact list. But most of the major requirements, let us see. Even if you miss one or two, then it's okay. So it is not exhaustive, but sort of complete. Cost. Cost is very significant factor because of the amount of roadways in any country, right? You see, if you are making an aeroplane, if you are making a nuclear reactor, if you are making something for the defense industry, they say that the quality is supremely important. For the cost, you can go ahead, don't worry. Even if your cost is very high, we will accept it. But roads, there are hundreds and thousands of kilometers of roads in every country. So the cost is very critical, that we want all the properties to be very good, but cost is also very, very important. So this is one thing, that cost is very significant. Now let us look at some of the properties. Sufficient compressive strength to withstand all traffic, especially loaded tractor trailers and so on, right? So this is the first thing that should come to your mind, that what is the major load on a road? Compressive load. Every car, every trolley, every truck, everything that goes on it, even people walking on it, put a lot of compressive strength, compressive load on it. So the compressive strength of the tarmac is a very, very critical requirement. If this is not good, you have seen somewhere that the road has been made and within a few months it has gone into depressions and there are some dents on it and so on, because the compressive strength was not sufficient and it settled lower than the standard size and so on, right? So this is the most important thing. Low enough coefficient of thermal expansion to survive temperature variations. I have written it here as the second one because we are living in the Gulf region, right? Temperatures are very critical. If we were in European countries of very north, the north part of America and so on, where temperatures are not so high, then this would not be so critical. But there will be the other part, that in winters they go to extreme low temperatures. So the variation in temperature there is also very big, right? So coefficient of thermal expansion, delta T. So this is now very important, that if normal temperature is, normal days is say 20-25 Celsius, but it can vary up to 45-50 Celsius, then there is a big delta T. In very cold countries, if the normal temperature is around again 20 and so on, but in winters it is 0. So delta T is big, and coefficient of thermal expansion will either give a lot of expansion to the road or a lot of contraction to the road, right, in terms of temperature dropping. So this is an important property. I don't know if many of you thought of this. Sufficient hardness not to abrade easily, right? Hardness is a surface property. Compressive strength was the property of the whole material because there are a lot of compressive load, but hardness only on the top, because every car, every tractor, everything is rubbing against it, providing friction. So if the hardness is not good, then at the top, the surface layer will keep on eroding and going away and wearing out. So hardness will be an important property because the surface is constantly under frictional loads. Enough viscosity to be spread on new roads without flowing away. Now this is again something because initially when you spread the tarmac, then you spread it on the road. So if the viscosity is not high enough, then it will start to flow outside the road all the way. So it should be just enough. It should be not so thick that you can't spread it properly. It should not be so thin that when you spread it, it starts to flow outside the road, right? So viscosity of the asphalt material, it is a mix. It is some solids mixed with tar, coal tar, right? So these are some of the major properties. Many people, I don't know, they are writing toughness, they are writing tensile strength. You see, the major load that it is going to go through is compressive load and friction. Tensile load, I mean, how would you pull a road? How will you pull a road? So if you are thinking of tensile, this is just right, the bulb in the brain is not on. If you are writing toughness is a combination of strength and ductility. Toughness is a combination of strength and ductility. Ductility, you are not thinking here, not tensile load. So if you are thinking of toughness and you are thinking of tensile loads and so on, then this is not very right. Right? And here, it is not that you should be a civil engineer to know this. You should be just a general bachelor's degree engineer. Now you are either at the last 1 or 2 semesters of your degree, or you are a master's engineer. So then, if these were not some of the selected properties, then we have not been able to convey to you the general importance of being a good engineer, right? Isotropic properties, right? So this is isotropic. Properties should be the same in all directions. It is not that lengthwise properties should be different and transverse direction properties should be different and so on. So some of these you can add on later on. 4b. Now let us go to 4b. Determine the expected diffraction angle for the first order reflection from the 310 set of planes for chromium when monochromatic radiation of wavelength 0.0711 nanometer is used. So this is a basic question from the crystal structure and basic properties type of chapter, and this was covered in the materials. Now remember that we covered some of the materials in a lot of detail ourselves in the class. Some of the others we said that, you see, you have done everything of this in a previous first course in material science. So a higher course in material science needs these properties. So please definitely go through them. And you also practice these for quiz 1 and quiz 2 before coming to the midterm. So therefore, either we covered exactly this in the lectures, or we left this for you, that this is a definitely covered topic. Please do some examples. And we included some of these major problem type of questions in the homework, that even if I have not covered it in the class, but I have said that this will be covered. So I am giving some samples in the homework so that you know that these type of problems will be covered. So this is a very standard question, right, of XRD, X-ray diffraction, right? We do XRD to find out what type of metal or material we have. Is it a BCC structure, is it an FCC structure, and so on. And this is a very standard question. So, right. So now, as I said, whenever there is a problem type of question, then you can pause my lecture here, take your pen and pad and start solving it. And you have the book there, so all the formulas are there. All the table of material properties are there in the book. right? So it is always a good thing to stop, even though you have done it in the midterm, but do it again, have some practice, make yourself a very strong and good materials engineer, right? So you can pause my lecture here and take down the question and so on, and then solve it, right? If you now listen to me after this point, then you have already solved it and you are just comparing your solution. So let us see. I always tell you that before solving, very quickly note down the knowns and the unknowns and so on. Now you know from the tables, right? In the book there are tables of BCC materials, FCC materials. So from that table you know that chromium is BCC, right? So this is one thing, that it is given in the book, it is an open book, you know that chromium is a BCC material. Now one equation for XRD is n lambda is equal to 2DHKL sine theta. N is which, it is first order or second order reflection. So this is first order reflection, n is equal to 1. Lambda is the wavelength, wavelength is given. DHKL is the interplanar spacing, right? It is, right, plane 310, plane 310. So this is first plane 310. When there is a second plane 310, what is the distance between them? So that is the DHKL, and sine theta, theta is the angle which we are asking, right? So this is one equation. The other equation you know is DHKL is equal to A upon under root h squared plus k squared plus l squared, where this is the plane, right? So these are the only two equations. In diffraction, XRD, these are the only two equations. And if it is BCC, then BCC is a standard. So if you use this equation, then H and K and L are 3, 1, 0. So here 3 squared, 1 squared, 0 squared, and so on. This is already there, right? If it is BCC, then A is equal to 4R upon root 3, right? This is old thing, right, from the first course, but this is also repeated in the Newell book. So that is it. Now there will be a table in the chapter where the atomic radius and so on of chromium will be given, right? So you know A is equal to 4R upon root 3, and R for chromium is 0.1249 nanometer. Supply these values, the value of A is known. So now in this equation, H, K and L are already known, 3 square, 1 square and so on. A is now this. Put these values, you have found DHKL now. You have found DHKL, right? So in this equation now, N is known, 1, first order. Lambda is known, lambda wavelength is given. DHKL you have calculated. So just find theta from here, right? So this is it, right? A very basic level question. So D310 is already there, right? Then sine theta is so much, theta is equal to this. But just remember one critical thing, that the angle is 2 theta, right? Not theta. So some of you, very few of you were a little confused. I don't know why they did not practice this at all, even though this type was covered in the homeworks and so on. The others left it here, right? So there will be a small -1 because the diffraction angle is 2 theta, not theta. So this is it. You have solved this. This is not a big question. So again, I thought that most of the midterm questions were very basic. If you had done quiz 1, quiz 2 revision in a good way, and if you had done the homework problems and so on, then you should have a very high good marks. So I don't know where you are placed, but this is the solution of this part.